How to prevent thousands in costly car repairs. Mechanics aren't happy about it. So I'll start off by saying that this actual article that I'm reading is sponsored by this company I'm going to be talking about called Fixed, F-I-X-D. However, even though the article is sponsored by Fixed, this actual video that I'm uploading is not sponsored by Fixed. Yes, this video is monetized that I'm shooting. It is monetized, so you're going to see ads before the video and as well as possibly during and after the video as well too. And if any ads come up for Fixed before, during, or after my video, it's just purely coincidence. So as I say, yes, my video is going to be monetized, but it's not sponsored by Fixed. Only this actual article that I'm reading is sponsored by Fixed. So, there's no reason why every car owner shouldn't have one. New device instantly tells you if there's a problem with your car, how severe it is, and if it's an emergency or not. All in simple and easy to understand terms, leaving shady mechanics in the dust, no longer able to rip you off. Have you ever gone to an auto repair shop for an oil change, only to have the mechanic say to you, you need a new transmission? Or has the mysterious check engine light come on, and next thing you know, the mechanic has a list of expensive engine parts that need replacing? Unfortunately, mechanics know taking advantage of people is easy. Given their lack of knowledge about car maintenance needs. Mechanics making things up to jack your rates up happens all the time. But now there's finally a way to help you avoid getting scammed by shady mechanics. What is it? It's called Fixed, F-I-X-D. It is the first easy-to-use car health maintenance monitor. Two engineers based out of Atlanta, Georgia, were tired of seeing their friends and family get taken advantage of at auto shops. So they decided to do something about it. They created this new affordable device that plugs into your car's OBD, onboard diagnostics port, the very same port that mechanics use to figure out what's wrong with your car. Every car built in 1996 or later is required to have this port. This new device will instantly diagnose your car's problems for you and translate them into simple, easy to understand terms, and much more. Meaning the next time a mechanic is trying to pull one over on you, you can call them on it. Best part, if and when that check engine light comes on, Fixed tells you exactly what's causing it in a way anyone can understand. No more looking up codes or taking it to the dreaded auto shop only to be given a list of unnecessary repairs. Never again. You can also turn off the check engine light right from the Fixed app if the problem is not serious or if you want to see if it will reoccur. How cool is that? Sounds great, but how much does it cost? With all the benefits Fixed provides, you'd think it would cost a few $100s, right? That's what makes this company so great. The founders of Fixed made it incredibly affordable so they can help as many people as possible avoid getting scammed by mechanics, while also staying on top of their car's health. It retails for only $59, and you can purchase it on their official website. Don't wait till it's too late. A small investment of a little more than that cost of an oil change can keep your car running smoothly and out of shady auto shops. Now, some important information. As a special introductory sale, the company is now offering an incredible buy two, get one free deal to all new customers. Take advantage and get fixed for only $39 each. Avoid getting ripped off by mechanics. And now, this is an advertisement and not an actual news article, blog, or consumer protection update. This was underneath the article about Fixed, by the way. The story depicted on this site and the person depicted in the story are not actual news. Rather, this story is based on the results that some people who have used these products have achieved. The results portrayed in the story and in the comments are illustrative and may not be the results that you achieve with these products. This page could receive compensation for clicks on or purchase of products featured on this site. Now, I know there's going to be some people questioning me like, wait a second, if this guy's not being sponsored by this, if this guy's not being sponsored by Fixed, and I've never even met anyone from Fixed or been approached by Fixed about covering this product or mentioning this product, promoting this product to anyone. So why would I be promoting a product that I am not being paid to sponsor? Well, plain and simply, even though I'm not a car owner now, I've owned cars before. I've owned many cars. And the thing that really pissed me off was going into the auto shop for just an oil change or something else routine, like my check engine light came on, and having to deal with some slimeball, greasy, crooked, lying mechanic telling me I need this, this, and that. And the thing is, I just had a hard time trusting auto mechanics. I just really had a hard time trusting them because I never know when they're telling me the truth. And when they're lying to me, just looking to line their pockets further. With all the cars I owned and all the years that I owned cars, there was only one auto mechanic I was able to find that I was able to trust. It was a place called Interscope Automotive in Mississauga, run by Bill Gardner, and he had an assistant. If I remember correctly, his assistant's name Renee. Now, I don't know if Bill Gardner and Interscope Automotive are still in business. I'm not too sure if they're still practicing as mechanics or if they've moved on to other things, because I know Bill Gardner, he also appears on a show called Motoring, to tell you it's basically an automotive show. So I don't know if they're still in business or not, or if they're still practicing as auto mechanics. But that was the only auto mechanic I came across that I could trust. I came across several other auto mechanics that just, acted like dishonest slime balls. I remember, for example, I purchased an old winter beater back some years ago, and I purchased roadside assistance from Canadian Tire, because Canadian Tire has, at this time anyways, they had roadside assistance that I could purchase. And with this roadside assistance package, I was given five free service calls a year. However, the benefit of being with Canadian Tire was the fact that if I had my car towed to a Canadian Tire location, I would not be charged for a service call. But one of the benefits that came with the Canadian Tire Auto Club was that I could take my car to get a free inspection done at any one of their auto shops. So I took it to one of their auto shops. And this is a car I just purchased about 3 weeks beforehand. And this car was certified. In other words, safetied. So they had to do multiple inspections on this car to make sure that it was roadworthy, that it was safe for the road. This auto shop proceeded to tell me that my brakes were in such bad shape that they could fail the very next time I go to press the brake pedal, which I knew for a fact wasn't true, because this car was safetied only 3 weeks before that. And yes, there are dishonest shops out there that will sell you a safety for not without performing the proper safety inspection on the car. But in my mind, as crooked and dishonest as auto mechanics may be, I don't see them scrimping on the brakes in a safety inspection. The reason I don't see them scrimping on the brakes is because, let's say those brakes failed and I died in a car accident, and several other people ended up dying in that car accident too as a result of those faulty brakes. And they discover that those brakes just passed a safety inspection. And by the way, a safety inspection in the Canadian province of Ontario is valid for 36 days. If they see that those brakes are certified as being safe, and then they ended up failing and killing a bunch of people, just think how far up the creek those mechanics would be for certifying brakes that were not safe. They'd be in so much shit. I mean, they'd probably get charged with fraud. There's a risk of them doing jail time, and they could get sued for a whole bunch of money. And talking about car ownership, the reason why I no longer own a car, I live in London, Ontario, which is a city of about 400,000 people. I live in London, Ontario, I work in London, Ontario, and I go shopping in London, Ontario. So since we do have a transit system in London, Ontario, which is adequate enough to get me from A to B, to get me to work, to get me to my shopping and that kind of thing. And if I want to go out of town, if I want to go to, say, suburban Toronto, if I want to go to the Toronto area, which is about 180 kilometers from London, well, depending where you're going, let's say the Toronto area is about 200 kilometers from London, or 120 miles. If I'm going there, I can just take a Greyhound bus, or I can take a Via Rail train. The reason why I no longer own a car is because it's just a hell of a lot cheaper not owning a car. I just see a car as being a big money pit. The last car I owned was a 2002 Mazda Protege 5. It was a good little car. It was very reliable. I had it for a year and a half. I had no problems with it. And apart from getting oil changes done, the only other money I had to spend on it was I had to replace a front right ball joint. And that only cost me $200 to replace. And I had to also replace an air intake hose. So that cost me $100. So outside of oil changes, I only had to spend $300 on this car apart from oil changes. Now, to give you an idea of how much money I was spending on that car, even though it was so reliable and trouble-free, my lease payment was $219 a month. My insurance was $119 a month. And I had a pretty good driving record as well, too. I had no accidents, no claims, and the only infraction that I had on my driving record at that time was one speeding ticket for doing 75 kilometers an hour in a 60 kilometer an hour zone. So for being 15 kilometers over the speed limit, or being 9 miles over the speed limit. And I was paying $119 a month. And at that time, gas in London, Ontario, well, gas around Ontario was quite expensive at that time. I was running around $1.25 to $1.30 a liter. And that little Mazda only had a 55-liter tank. And it was averaging $60 to fill up the tank one time. And I was averaging 3 tanks of gas a month. So 3 tanks of gas is $60 a piece approximately, give or take. That's $180 a month on gas. And then $119 a month for insurance and $219 a month for my lease payment. That was putting me close to $500 a month. And that's not even including any oil changes or if I had to do any kind of repairs on that car. By contrast, it only cost me $81 a month for a bus pass in London, Ontario. And I average about 1 trip a month to Mississauga, Ontario. Now that 1 trip a month to Mississauga for transportation costs between Greyhound and between having to ride Mississauga Transit for the weekend that I go down to visit my parents, that's generally anywhere from $50 to $60. So if I average 1 trip a month to Mississauga for say $60, plus $81 a month for a London Transit bus pass, that's $140 a month versus $500 a month. Since I don't really need a car, it's kind of nice having that additional money in my pocket than having to dump it into a money pit like a car. Basically, my car died on me one day at the mall, and I flagged down someone to boost my car, and even with a boost, my car still wouldn't start. So instead of having my car towed, paying for towing, and then paying to have it diagnosed, and then paying to repair whatever the problem was, and not only that, how do I know how much longer down the road would it be until I have to end up spending money on something else for that car? I just decided to sell it to a scrapyard for $220 and get rid of that problem. So for anyone wondering why I don't have a car, that's why I don't have a car. And that's why I have no plans to buy a car anytime soon. Saves me a lot of money, but for you car owners, this new device, Fixed, could be a way of saving yourselves some money from when dealing with unscrupulous mechanics.